team that we are trying to plan the future for. We have our next segment coming up that we have been doing throughout the past weeks, going over the low man on the totem pole, rising as high as we can, giving these bad teams a roadmap, so to speak, a checklist of off-season things that they may want to do. And the next one up, it may seem as if the New York Giants have this pick, but it's actually from the Chicago Bears. So our Chicago Bears checklist. What do we have number one on our list, Nick?
So I think they have to go out and hire Dan Quinn as their head coach. They interviewed Dan Quinn, who is currently defensive coordinator for Dallas, was a head coach of Atlanta for a long time, had a lot of success with the Atlanta Falcons. And the reason they have to get Dan Quinn is twofold. One, they have to get a proven success, a guy who knows how to manage defense and locker room and all that kind of stuff. Dan Quinn's done that before. They need Matt Nagy couldn't do that. Dan Quinn has. He'll come in and fit in, do a good job there. Number two, what are the Bears known for? They're the monsters of the midway. They're defense. Let's get a defensive guy in there. Let's go back to the root. Let's go back to what they're good at. You know, they went to a Super Bowl with Lovie Smith way back when. Lovie Smith was a defensive guy. They tried to go to offense recently with Nagy. It didn't work out. Let's go back to basics. Let's go back to defense.
Yeah, I think spend your first round pick on the closest thing to a Brian Urlacher that you can find. White, bald guy who seems, like have a nose for the football. You go find that guy, throw him into the offense. Like you said, the offensive thing didn't really work. Justin Fields, we're not so sure about. But you build on the defense. A defense who has some key pieces on it already. Khalil Mack isn't anything to scoff at.
No,
Roquan Smith, pretty solid linebacker there.
Mm-hmm.
Their secondary isn't too bad. I think they have a lot of good pieces on that defense. But like you said, hiring Dan Quinn, go with a defensive-minded guy. This is where you're born and bred on. Don't fray away from it. But the second thing you have to do is, like we said, number 2, wide receivers and weapons in free agency. All right. They got to get Justin Fields some more help. The Raiders' offense isn't high-powered, so to speak. It doesn't really have too much on it at all on the offensive side of the ball outside of Justin Fields. You need to go to the free agency and get as many weapons as you can early. Get the guys who are proven talent, maybe in the wide receiver gadget area, and try to build up some stuff around Fields. Don't you agree?
100%. The Bears have $40 million in free cap space right now. That's a lot of money. I like a lot to compare the Bears situation with the Patriots last year when the Patriots went on that big spending spree in the offense, which ended up giving Mac Jones a lot of good players. I think the Bears seem to follow that mold. Look, I like guys like Michael Gallup, who's going to be a free agent from Dallas. Chris Godwin from Tampa is going to be available as a free agent. Go out, spend the money. You've got the cap space. You got your quarterback on your rookie deal. Give him the weapons he needs. They had Allen Robinson. He's going to be a free agent. I don't think he stays around. I think he was a good receiver, but I think they can go out and really upgrade it. The name Odell Beckham has been floating around a little bit. I don't know if I like Beckham with the young quarterback and Justin Fields, but hey, I mean, at this point, you got to give Fields the best chance for success. I think you got to surround him with weapons.
If we only go off of, like, what have you done for me lately? Beckham had a spectacular game in the playoffs. So there you go. I mean, he obviously, he still has some juice left. But, like you said, I think it's a big personality to bring on a team with an uncertain coaching atmosphere going in there. I think that's kind of a risk to bring a player in like that who can possibly dictate where the locker room is going before the coach even has a chance to stake his claim. So I think we maybe avoid a guy like that. But all those other guys, those would be Godwin or Gallup. Just good, solid wide receiver help for Fields is paramount, but not through free agency. How you need to build in the draft. I think we're saying running back or tight end through the draft. Got to go cheap. What do you think about this?
Yeah, 100%. So obviously the Bears don't have their first round pick this year because they traded it last year to move up to get Fields. So they have to look at their first pick's going to be in the second round, and they don't have a lot of draft picks in general. So they got to hit on their second and third round picks. Look, everyone knows that you can't spend big money on free agency and running backs this year, and you can't use high draft picks on them either. So the time to get running back help is in the second or third round. I like Jerome Ford from Cincinnati, transfer from Alabama. He's a home run hitter. And I really, really like that for the Bears offense that wasn't explosive at all. Pair him with Fields, who does a lot of zone read kind of stuff. I think that'll give Ford a lot of opportunities to make big plays in the running game, and they need that element in that offense. And for tight end, I like Trey McBride out of Colorado State. There's Weidenmeyer from Texas A&M is another guy. I think just get another weapon, get another young tight end, surround him with the free agent receivers we talked about, get him an explosive running back, another tight end. Just give Fields the best chance around him to be successful.
Yeah, and Colorado State, a team proven to produce NFL level tight ends. There's a guy, Crockett Gilmore, who came out of Colorado State. Crockett the Rocket. He wasn't too bad. It's worth taking a flyer on somebody like that. And like you said, we've seen success in the very late first round and early mid second rounds on the running back market. Look at Kansas City with Edwards-Helaire. He's been pretty stellar first season, just so second season. Baltimore with J.K. Dobbins in the second round. A really great pickup there. A lot of teams have been striking success, waiting to the second round to pick up one of the high-rated running backs that may have fallen through the first round because people are scared to pick them that high. So I think there's a lot of moves to be had in the second round with that running back market. So I think you're kind of onto something there.
Yeah, I mean, like you said, a lot of great running backs have been picked in the later rounds. Derrick Henry comes to mind, was a second round pick. I mean, there's the list is long, but there's a lot of value to get running backs in the second and third round, and I think that's the route the Bears need to go.
All right, so just to reiterate our roadmap for the Bears this season, number 1, got to hire Dan Quinn, defensive-minded head coach. Number 2, go after your wide receiver big weapons in free agency. You got $40 million in cap space. You got to use it. And number 3, go after a running back and tight end combo through the draft. Think cheap, can't spend the free agency money on running backs. It is not worth it to pay them. You got to get the 4 or 5 years you can out of them. Let them go. So those are the 3 things the Chicago Bears have to do to be successful.